The keel for USS Missouri is laid at New York Navy Yard in Brooklyn, New York. On January 27th, rumors started going around about a surprise attack at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, which they passed the rumor off to the White House and more or less did nothing about it till December 7th when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, which would be how the U.S. entered World War II. The year is 1941, and this stellar car could be had at your Cadillac dealer. But before getting into all of it, I'm your host, Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that digs lost and forgotten cars. We talk history, specs, designs, see these cars like you've never seen them before. We post between 4 and 5 episodes a week in mini documentary format. If that sounds of interest to you, a channel that you will totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. Announcement real quick, Hershey is coming up really fast, and it's always the first full week in October. This year it's from the 8th through the 11th. I will be there the 9th through the 11th, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if you see me out there, be sure to say hey. 1941 Cadillac model lineup was broken down into 6 series on 3 different wheelbase configurations, all powered by the same 346 cubic inch displacement flathead monoblock V8. Series 60, 61, 62, 63 all ride the same wheelbase, 126 inches. Series 67 rides a wheelbase of 139 inches, and Series 75 rides a wheelbase of 136 inches. Cadillac offered the Series 62 from 1940 through 1964, originally designed to complement the basement Series 61. In 1959, the Series 62 would become the 6200 and remained that name until being replaced by the Cadillac Calias in 1965. Series 62 was marketed as 62 and Series 62 offered in 7 generations. 1941 falls in the first generation, which was produced from 1940 and 1941, designed by Duke Harley Earl. Could be had as a 2-door coupe, 4-door sedan, 4-door convertible, and 2-door convertible. 1941 saw a total redesign, so let's compare 40 on top, 41 on the bottom, starting in the front. The 41 is low slung. Lights go from pod lights to lights inside the fenders. Also, the fenders are more parts of the body. Both have Flying Lady hood releases. Yes, that's how you enter the hood compartment on both of these cars. The hood is a single piece on both of these cars, opens alligator style. Huge Cadillac crest on the nose of the car that the 40 doesn't have. The grills go from bars to an egg crate style on the 41. Turn signals and or marker lights move from the fenders to 2 locations on the 41. The turn signal indicators, which I think this might be a very first year for Cadillac because it wasn't a thing until Buick offered them in 1939. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. They are at the top of the egg crate grille. There are 2 locations for fog lights. They can be directly under the headlights or they could be mounted to the bumpers. Bumper profiles are different between these 2. Both have split windshields. The trim on the 41 looks slightly thicker. Moving to the side profile, better look at the fenders, which are completely different, both front and rear. Notice the 41 gets rid of the side mounts. Louvers between these 2 are different. Windshield angle looks about the same, as well as vent windows. Both of these cars do not have running boards, but they do have rocker trim, done differently. Both have rubber gravel guards, done differently. The 41 has bead bars or bright trim on both front and rear fenders that the 40 doesn't have. The rear fender design on the 41 looks to be longer than on the 40s. Moving to the rear, it's interesting. The rear profile looks very similar. Both have external trunk hinges. Better look at the rear fender profiles, which are totally different. Rear brake lights look to be the same style, but they look smaller on the 41 with added stick-on trim fins. Bumpers are also different than the front bumpers. but still have that same design characteristic going on. Jumping inside to take a better look at the interior and dash situation, which you've guessed it, both different. Which one do you like better? Let's talk specs. 216 inches long, 80 inches wide, 62.5 inches tall. It rides a wheelbase of 126 inches. It weighs around 4,060 pounds. Price, $1,645, which would be equivalent to you spending $35,227.17 in the year 2024. Total 1962 Cadillac production was 66,169 units, of which total Series 62 was 24,734 units. Moving on to engine. Only one engine on offer for this car. 346 cubic inch displacement. Flathead monoblock V8. 5.8 liters. It's good for 150 horsepower, 3,400 RPM, 283 pound-feet, or 384 newton meters at 1,700 RPM with a bore of 3.5 inches and a stroke of 4.5 inches. Compression is 725-1. It could be backed with one of two different transmissions, the 3-speed manual, which was a synchro mesh unit column shift, or 4-speed automatic hydromatic. Let's talk styling on this absolutely stellar car. The fenders are more streamlined into the body. Headlight bezels are thick on this one with wings that follow into the bodywork. Grills underneath the headlights where you could have fog lights. This one has fog lights in a different location attached to the bumper. Turn signals are inboard on the upper part of the egg crate grille. Cadillac crest with Cadillac spelled out in block letter formation. The bumpers are elegantly designed on this with wings. Wings might not be the right word. I would say flare up, maybe fins. Fins might be a better word. 2 bumper overriders and or bumperettes with overrider bar. Just take a gander at all of the different levels that are going on in the bumperettes themselves. Center line on the overrider bar that coincides with the peak of the egg crate grille. Trim on the edge of the hood that starts off very petite, gets thicker as it goes to the center. The hood has a center line going up to the Flying Lady, which is also the hood release. Single piece hood that opens alligator style. Center trim goes clear back to the cowl vent, and it's even on top of the cowl vent, going towards the split windshield. Windshield wipers that oppose. The windshield wipers sit up on little pedestals. Dual spotlights. Cadillac on the top of the spotlight spelled out. Egg crate hood louvers. Radio antenna on the front fender. The front fenders are rolled. Also notice the 3 bright bars on the front fenders spaced evenly. No running boards, but this one does have rocker trim. Spotlight is mounted, or it comes out just at the base of the windshield. Side mirror is mounted to the vent window trim. This being a convertible, it doesn't have the drip rails. Large vent windows, rubber gravel guards with fender skirts. The rear fenders are finished with the bright trim bars. Brake lights are mounted at the end of the fenders with trim fins. Single backup light. This is one of the first cars where they hid the gas filler. It is under the left side trim fin. Gas cap itself looks sort of like a wind-up toy, doesn't it? The rear bumpers mimic the front bumpers in design, but they are completely different than the front bumpers. Getting inside, you are met with this red interior on black exterior colored car, which is a great color combination in my humble opinion. It looks to be leather on the door with bright work at the bottom, armrest, door handle to get out, window crank for the big window, crank for the vent window. Bright work at the bottom of the seat, Cadillac on the sill plate, which is beautifully patterned too. Coming down inside the pedal box, you have the high beam switch, hand brake, clutch, brake, gas pedal. Just take a gander at this gorgeous interior. Here is what over the hood looks like. Here is what first person looks like. Up above, you have sun visors, rear view mirror in center, and another sun visor over there for the passenger. On to the button switches and knobs, starting at the bottom of the dash. Fog lights, backup lamp, Upper knob is for the headlights. Bottom one is for the power convertible top. Heat and ventilation controls. Fresh air. Temperature to the left is off. Warmer to the right. Defroster at the top. Coolant temperature. Amp meter. Gasoline gauge. Oil pressure. 100 mile per hour speedometer where the 90 and the 100 are flipped. Odometer. Trip odometer. Also notice the bezels have wings just like the headlight bezels outside. AM radio, clock, glove box, starter, hand throttle, key. Taking a real quick gander under the hood, monoblock V8, and all that really means is the block and the crankcase are cast as one single unit. L-head V8, 2-barrel carburetor, that's the downdraft variety, with oil bath air cleaner attached to it. The fuel pump and fuel filter combo is right there. Also notice that the distributor is mounted at the rear, coil is mounted to the firewall, steering mechanism is all exposed and easily accessible. Notice the exhaust, it runs out the top over the intake. Also notice where the water line connects to the head on the driver's side. On the passenger side, it's the same thing. 3-belt system. The exhaust comes over the intake in the rear, connects to the passenger side, which also exits from the top, and then it goes down the front of the engine block and exits out the rear. On the positive side, this car aged like fine wine, in my opinion. The design, when compared to other 1940s or pre-war designs, it looks like a post-war design in many ways. CCCA, or Classic Car Club of America, classic status, said to have great road characteristics. The owner was telling me how awesome this is to drive. Against it, high operating costs. They are expensive to restore. The hood doesn't open nearly as high as it probably should, and the engine sits way down inside. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. 2 scenarios today. In the first scenario, would you rather have a 1941 Packard 120 or 1941 Cadillac Series 62 or 1961 Lincoln Zephyr? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video. On to the second scenario, 1941 Chrysler or 1941 Cadillac Series 62 or 1941 Packard Clipper. Once again, going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free to pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to give both the name of the band, song title, and the lyric that comes next will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. It's important to me. So once again, looking for the name of the band, song title, and the lyric that follows that. First one to do all three will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below, or check out our Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel, gives you the opportunity to share your rides, stories, experiences, anything car related is shareable on there. If you don't have Facebook and would still like to reach me, send me an email at what_its_like at a lost and mostly forgotten web provider, yahoo.com, if interested. Thanks again for everything that you guys bring in the comment section, and until next time, toodaloo! What follows is a walk around of the car in silence. You can play whatever music you'd like to play if you want to listen to music at all. If not, just take it all in.